When people think of Jesus Christ, they often imagine his miracles, his powerful sermons, and his sacrifice on the cross. But behind the stories we know lies another truth: Jesus also carried silent burdens. He lived a life filled with unseen struggles, quiet tears, and deep sacrifices that shaped his mission. This is not just the story of his divinity, it is the story of his humanity. As a boy in Nazareth, Jesus often walked the dusty roads carrying wood for his father Joseph. The sun scorched his back, the weight dug into his shoulders, and neighbors whispered as he passed, "He looks ordinary," they said, "just another carpenter's son." But in his heart, he knew he was anything but ordinary. At 12 years old in the temple, he amazed teachers with wisdom far beyond his age. Yet when his mother found him, he quietly returned home, choosing humility over glory. Imagine carrying a secret destiny so great it could not be shared. Even in his youth, he bore the burden of being misunderstood. By the time he became a young man, Jesus could feel the pull of his calling more strongly. He would walk into the hills alone, sit beneath the stars, and whisper prayers that only heaven could hear. "Father, they do not yet see who I am. Give me patience, give me strength." While others gathered for feasts and laughter, he often chose silence. Not because he didn't love people, but because his spirit was heavy with what was to come. The greatest loneliness in the world is not being without people, it is being surrounded by people who cannot understand your purpose. When Jesus began to teach, he expected resistance, but the rejection from his own people cut the deepest. In Nazareth, the town where he grew up, he read from the scroll of Isaiah and declared that the prophecy was fulfilled in him. Instead of celebrating, they scoffed. "Isn't this Joseph's son? Who does he think he is?" The pain of their disbelief was sharp. He wanted to bring them freedom, yet they saw only the carpenter. And so he walked away, carrying not anger, but sorrow. That sorrow became a companion throughout his ministry. Crowds came to him in desperation: lepers with rotting skin, blind men stumbling in darkness, women crushed by years of suffering. And he healed them. He touched the untouchable, lifted the broken, and restored the forgotten. But what we forget is the cost. Each healing was not just an act of power, it was an act of compassion that pierced his soul. When he healed a child, he felt the fear of the parents. When he touched the sick, he felt the depth of their despair. Every miracle left him carrying the echoes of their pain. At night, when his disciples slept, he would kneel in the wilderness and pour it all out before his Father. "Father, the weight is heavy. But for them, for love, I will carry it." The wilderness was more than hunger and thirst. It was the battlefield of his soul. For 40 days he ate nothing, his body weak, his mind dizzy. And then came the voice. "You are hungry, turn these stones to bread. You seek a kingdom, bow to me, and I will give it. You are the Son of God, prove it." Every word was a dagger. His stomach ached, his lips cracked, his bones shook. Yet he answered with scripture, with faith, with fire. "Man shall not live by bread alone. Worship the Lord your God, and serve him only. You shall not put the Lord to the test." That victory was not easy, it was the hardest battle of his humanity. Scripture tells us Jesus wept, but those were not his only tears. He wept when he saw people reject love for greed. He wept when his disciples quarreled over who was greatest. He wept when he looked over Jerusalem, knowing its destruction. And in the dark of night, after teaching thousands, after healing hundreds, he would sit alone by the fire, staring into the flames, whispering, "They do not see yet, Father. But I will not stop. I will not turn away." The weight of betrayal is one of the heaviest burdens. Judas, one of his own disciples, sold him for silver. Peter, his closest friend, denied him 3 times. And when the soldiers came, most of his followers fled. The physical pain of the cross was great, but the emotional wound of abandonment cut even deeper. To be left alone by those he loved most was a suffering only he could endure. The cross was the world's ultimate cruelty. Nails tore through flesh, thorns pierced his brow, each breath death, but the weight of every sorrow in history. And yet, with his final breath, he whispered, "It is finished." Not a cry of defeat but a victory. The struggles of Jesus were not only on the cross. They were in his loneliness, his tears, his compassion, his rejection, his battles with temptation. He suffered quietly, so he could understand every struggle we face. When you feel abandoned, he knows. When you are rejected, he knows. When you are weary and misunderstood, he knows. And he whispers still. I endured, so that you may endure. I suffered, so that you may find life. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to J.Chanel for more powerful and inspiring stories of faith, hope, and love.